All right. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome, friends. Um, I'm Amy. If you are new here, if you're meeting for the first time, hello. And I'm the founder of this community, Creative Compass. And this call we are here today is called Connect and Create. This is a new offering in our community. I'm so happy that, some of you could be here live this morning, and also it'll be going up on YouTube for people who can't be here live. And the idea is just this to be a casual, creative hangout space where we can gather regularly so that you have a space you can come into in a sort of regular, predictable spot. You can put it on your calendar. You can count on it each month where you can do some creative things, hang out with some other people. I'm going to talk about this community, about creativity, about what's going on in our little corner of the internet here, and we can be together. So I'm gonna, just for the purposes of like recording and sharing, I am gonna put like my head in the big box for now, for this portion of the call. I think we got some more people coming in. There we go. All right, so before we begin, just a little quick like housekeeping. I am going to ask for at least for this beginning part of the call that everybody put themselves on mute just so we don't get any weird background sounds and things like that. So if you're not muted, if you could just click your mute on, and there'll be other parts of the call where you're invited to, unmute and share and chat and all of that. You are welcome. Like I said, this is casual. We're casual hangout here. Casual hangout with friends. You can have your camera on or off as you choose. You can be in your PJs. If you can be, driving to work in the morning or zooming in from the office or listening in. If you can only listen, that's fine. Whatever, I would love to have you be able to give yourself this hour of, undivided attention to your creative life. But if that's not the reality of your life, that's fine. If you want to just come and listen in, get what you can, that's totally fine. Everyone is welcome here. Um, yeah, so in a minute, I'm going to talk a little bit more about sort of why I created this space, what my intentions and hopes and dreams for it are. Before we dive into that, I'm just going to offer a quick grounding meditation. So if you've hung out with me before, if you've done any of my workshops or courses or classes, you probably know I start pretty much everything I do with a grounding. And I'm just going to talk for a minute if you're new here about why that is. We are living in very ungrounded times. Do you guys feel that? Do you feel that? Our modern human existences are, especially in the online space, they are very ungrounded. We are all over the place all the time. The realities of our modern life are lots of things coming at us all at once, always. That is a very recent development in human history, and our bodies and minds and nervous systems don't always know what to do with it. And I heard this factoid just yesterday, actually. I was listening to a podcast or something, and the person on the podcast was guessing, I don't think there's hard data on this, that in our modern lives in 2026, we take in the amount of information we take in a day, like every day of our lives, is probably what like our pre-industrial revolution ancestors, a few hundred years back, it's probably equivalent to like the information they took in like their entire lives, especially like pre-printing press, pre-electricity, right? Those days. Like, just think about that for a minute. Like, every day we are taking in this informational load that is very new to human history. So, and I really, if I'm honest, I really think it is hard. And I might even be so bold as to say impossible to create in that space, in that ungrounded, everything coming at us space. Like, you guys know we're all creatives here. Creativity takes some focus, it takes some presence, right? It takes being in the moment and being with those inner voices and um, it's hard to do. And I think it's maybe getting harder in our modern world. And I think that's why I encounter so many creatives who are like, I love making art, but I just like, I can't sit down and I can't get to my canvas and I can't settle in. And, this modern world doesn't make it easy to do that. So, anyway, all that to say, we're going to ground. We're going to do a quick grounding meditation, which if that's new to you, if you're like, what even are you talking about, Aimee? It really just is a matter of taking a moment to get present, here where we are in our bodies, take a breath, get your feet on the ground, um, release all the other things that were going on so that we can be present. And if you've never tried making that part of your creative life, like just taking a minute and taking a breath and centering yourself before you create, it is an absolute game changer. It is the first thing I do every time I teach anything. It is the first thing I teach clients when I work one-on-one with creatives who are blocked or stuck or can't get their art done. It's the first thing we talk about. It is like, the foundational. So anyway, all that to say, I invite you at this time to just come into a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes if you want to. If you are in a, obviously, if you're driving your car to work, don't close your eyes. But if it feels safe and supportive and helpful, closing your eyes just immediately gets rid of a lot of the stimuli, the visual stimuli. I like to put a hand on my heart and a hand on my belly so I can make sure I'm breathing deeply. You don't have to do that, whatever supports you. And if at all possible, get your feet on the floor, on the surface beneath them. And just take a nice, deep, nourishing breath and let it out with like a big audible sigh. Like make some sound. And if that felt really good, you can do it again. Do it 2, 3 times. Just let your body and your mind land. I invite you to just gently start tuning into your breath, just noticing it, noticing your breath moving in and out. And if it feels like it would support you today, maybe see if you can just deepen and lengthen those breaths just a little bit. Nothing that feels forced or hard. Just expand those breaths a tiny bit. I like to invite people to just take a moment and intentionally release whatever you were doing before you stepped into this, onto this call here. I know some of you just got up, so maybe that was not so much, but if you were driving to work or having a conversation, or possibly even just a train of thought, just take a moment and sort of energetically set that down. Press pause, let it go. It will be there waiting for you later, I promise. And likewise, if there's anything that's sort of pulling your brain into the future today, something you have to remember to do later, or something you didn't finish before you got on this call, we're going to just set those down. And if there's anything that is really persistently not wanting to be set down, just open your eyes for a minute and jot it down on a piece of paper on a sticky note or something and let it live there so it doesn't have to live in your mind for now, for the time being. I invite you at this time to gently bring your awareness, let it slowly sink out of the headspace, coming back into the body, feeling your beating heart, feeling your breath move your belly in and out. And then we're going to bring that awareness all the way down to our feet on the floor, feeling that surface beneath us. Can move or wiggle your toes a little bit if that helps. Just really bringing your awareness to the fact that you are connected to the ground. And if it helps, you can even imagine that you have roots growing from the bottom of your feet straight through the floor and connecting you all the way into the earth. Just, just allowing yourself to feel like you are anchored here. You are held. Before we open our eyes, I'm going to invite you to bring some awareness into your heart space. You can just put your hand on your heart if you'd like. That feels supportive. Just bring some breath, some awareness into your heart space. Again, just like it is hard to create when we are ungrounded, it is hard to create when we have a tight, closed, guarded heart space. And that is not a judgment. The state of the world is such that sometimes our heart is very guarded. Let's see if you can just send a little breath, send a little smile, a little self-love into that heart space this morning. See if that helps your heart space feel a little more open. Feel that creative flow can move in and out a little more easily. Just letting our creative spirit know that we are gathered here in a safe container. It is safe to play. It is safe to express. It is safe to create your art, and your spirit and your voice will be valued here. And as you feel ready, just gently open your eyes, coming back into our shared space. Hmm. All right. Beautiful. Welcome, everybody. Welcome again. If you popped in while my eyes were closed, welcome. I'm Aimee, and we are here today for a little space that I'm calling Connect and Create. So for the next little while, oh, sorry, almost forgot something. So after we ground, I like to offer a little inspirational quote or a poem or something that came to mind today. And when I was setting this, my intentions for today, the poem that came through to me is one called Invitation by Shel Silverstein. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. If you don't know, so Shel Silverstein is most famous for being a children's poet. He writes children's poetry, books of poetry for children. And if you didn't know, I was an elementary school teacher for many years, also a mom of three, and I'm a big fan of children's literature in general and of Shel Silverstein. So this is his poem, Invitation. If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer, if you are a pretender, come sit by my fire, for we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in, come in. That's it. Very simple. I just thought that really summed up what we're all doing here this morning. This container, fun and welcoming container for creatives. So for the next little bit, I'm going to talk a little bit, and you are welcome, again, to be working on an art piece or, whatever you have on hand. If you want to, you're also welcome to just listen in. You're welcome to eat your breakfast, whatever, you feel called to do this morning. But I want to just talk a little bit about sort of why I created this space for us to gather and what my intentions are, where I see it maybe going in the future, in general. So, basically, as I already said, this is a monthly, free, open to the whole community gathering. And really, how it came about was so for years. So, this is, I think this Community Creative Compass is in its just starting its fourth year of existence. And for a long time since the beginning of this community, I had a Facebook group. And for a very long time, I absolutely loved that Facebook book group. There was a lot of people in it. It was active. It was interactive. People were sharing art. We were having conversations. People would post like articles related to creativity. It was a really fun, supportive, active community. And I loved that Facebook community. And about a year ago, a lot of people started sort of abandoning their Facebook communities. And I was like, no, I love my Facebook community. I'm never going to abandon it. It's like my favorite part of it. It's like it was such a core, central part of building this community. Um, but over the past year, you probably have, if you're Facebook users, just the scene on Facebook has changed dramatically in the past year. And maybe it was before then. I tend not to be an early adopter on these things. I tend to hang on, to things that I once loved. And both not just in like the tone and the way people interact, like yes, all that. Also, the way Facebook is run as a company has changed a lot. And I'm not going to go into all of that. I wrote an email about it already, but basically all that to say, I no longer was feeling like Facebook is really a place where genuine community can thrive. The infrastructure there has really, really changed, both on the consumer end and on the back end, behind the scene end, how it's run. Um, and so I was hanging on to that Facebook community, but really it was no longer serving the function that I wanted it to serve. So instead, while I could, certainly go on and on about the things I dislike about Facebook, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, what was it that I loved about that community, and how do I open a different container, to get back the parts that I loved about that community once upon a time. And I looked into a lot of other sort of like community platforms, social media platforms, and there are a lot of them out there. And there are ones that are better than Facebook. They're not stealing your data, et cetera, et cetera. But I really, where I landed on that was like, okay, if someone, someone I follow a lot of artists, like, sent me an email and was like, "Hey, I want you to download like one more app or join one more platform or follow me on one more place." Like, honestly, I would be like, "No, thanks." I don't know how you all are feeling about that. I'm kind of feeling like I have reached my limit on platforms I'm willing to join and apps I want to download and all the things. Like, you're right, I don't know if you all feel that. But so I didn't want to just kind of like recreate our Facebook group on and ask people to have like one more notification pinging them and, all the things. Because honestly, I created this community to be a part of people's well-being. Right, because I believe creativity is part of our well-being. I created this community to support people in being creative and being well. And I don't necessarily feel like the current landscape of social media and pinging notifications and all the rest are contributing to that. So, I was really looking for a container that was not going to bring all of that nonsense with it. Um, and this is where I landed. As I said in my email, this is going to be an evolution, and we'll see where, as all the things I create are, we'll see where it goes, where it takes us. I have some ideas for ways I'd like to use it in the future, and we'll see. We'll see what comes of it. Um, but again, it was important to me that we had a free, accessible space where anyone who wants to be here can be part of this community in sort of a regular way, every month. I'm really missed. So if you were in the Facebook community, we used to do this monthly creative check-in on the first of every month, where I would just say like, "Hey, it's February. What are you making? What's going on in your art life?" And people would post their art and be like, "Oh, I'm trying this medium and I'm trying this project and finally finished this and it was so great." And then again, as Facebook changed and evolved, like those posts went down to like almost no participation for various reasons. I won't go into it, but um so I miss seeing your art. I miss hearing about what you're doing in your creative lives. I miss us sharing and inspiring one another with because the best part of those posts would be someone would post something and be like, "Oh, I always wanted to try that. I'm gonna try that," right? That's how we encourage each other and inspire each other. So I missed that. Um, I missed there being just an easy place for people who are new and want to kind of just get a taste for like, what is this community and who is this person and what do we do here? I missed having just like an easy place to invite people who wanted to just see what we're all about here. Um, I missed having a place. I used to pop into the Facebook group like once or twice a month and just like do a little Facebook Live and talk about what we're doing in our community, what opportunities are open if you wanted to, do a little more. Or, if I'm guest teaching somewhere, or if we're hosting a course or a retreat or whatever, and I could just explain what's going on. And I missed that. So those were the things I missed. And those are the things I'm hoping to use this container for. And also, like I said, I would love for you to put this on your calendar, bring an art project, bring a sketchbook, and just have a little creative accountability, right? A little spot on your calendar where you can, because I don't know about you, I always find it easier to do something if I know other people are waiting for me on the other side or someone else is, if I feel connected into a group. So, yeah, that is why we're here. And so I am committing to the first Friday of every month, un unforeseen circumstances, of course, accepting, at 10 a.m. East Coast time. Oh, you're so welcome, Kelly. You're so welcome. Um, and then posting this on my YouTube channel for anyone who can't be here live. I do, of course, realize mid-morning East Coast time is not going to work for everybody. Our community is all over the world. We are in all different stages of life. We have all different lifestyles. I wish I could open a magic time portal that was good for everybody, but I can't. So the closest thing to that is, a replay, a replay that you can watch whenever you feel like it. And even if you are here live, if you want to check back in, um, that's what the replays are for. All right. So, lay of the land here, we will always, like I said, gather, say hello, check in. I will always do a grounding, get us centered and present. Then I'll share some things, a poem, a quote, some kind of inspiration for you. Um, and then I may just chat about whatever is kind of on my mind on not literally on the topic of creativity or kind of whatever's going on in the ether on in any particular month. And also there will be space for me to talk about what's going on in our community here. And then so this is slated for an hour 15 minutes. The last 15 minutes, we are going to have a little optional show and tell time, which I will talk about when we get, on that end of the call. But basically, like I said, I miss the sharing. I miss that space where we can show each other what we're making and tell each other what we're trying and inspire each other to do new things. So we will definitely be holding space on this call for that. So I will talk a little bit about that when we get to the end bit of this call. And if you weren't here at the very beginning of the call, I was talking about how I had planned to like play some music, and then I remembered that this is going on my YouTube channel, and YouTube has a lot of rules about copyrighted music. So I'm gonna look into that. But for today, we're not gonna have any music until I figure out the way to do that correctly, without violating anybody's policies. All right, so looking at my little notes here. Think I covered all that. All right, so then next I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's going on in our community. So I call this like our community update, what's happening, what you are, invited into if you'd like. And um, so if you're new here and you don't know what this community is all about, basically we are I like to say we're an online community for creative explorers. So creatives of all stripes and genres and mediums are welcome here. But what I teach primarily is intuitive art. If you're not familiar with that term, intuitive art is just, I like to describe it as art that starts from within and then expresses outward, pours outward, as opposed to some of like the traditional um, if you were going to paint a landscape or a still life, you look outside of yourself at something, right? And then you render it or recreate it on your page. And there's nothing wrong with that kind of art. I make that kind of art sometimes. But what I teach here is intuitive art. So it's an art process where you are sort of gently guided in expressing something from within you onto your page or canvas. Um, it is more about the process. It is more process focused than it is product focused, although you certainly may produce a product you like. We often do. Um, and if you don't know, so our sort of teaching format in this community is that I teach an intuitive art workshop every month. Once a month, it is generally speaking on the third Thursday of the month. It is during the daytime, noon East Coast time. And those you can buy like a ticket to a single workshop. They're $30. Everyone's welcome. Grab a ticket, come in whenever a certain workshop speaks to you. Every week workshop has a theme. The themes are generally they're rooted in where we are in the turn of the year. I'm in the Northern Hemisphere, so they're rooted in, Northern Hemisphere seasonal. So it's very in alignment with the shifting seasons, sort of energetically how we move through a year. So, for example, in the winter months, we were talking a lot about being in the dreaming space and visioning and those sort of winter energies. As we shift into spring, we get a little more active. Some of those more active energies come in. The current workshop for February, which is not open yet, it's opening next week. So you're hearing it here first. Our February workshop is called Rekindle, and it is about reigniting our passions, those things that maybe have been dormant within us, either creatively or beyond. And so we work through painting and writing. We kind of flow between expressive painting and prompt writing around that theme. So that is how our workshops are. They're 90 minutes. Every ticket you buy comes with a replay. So if you can't make it with us at noon East Coast time, you can watch it at your leisure. And that's how our workshops work. If anyone has questions about that, please pop them into the chat, or you can even unmute and yell out. That's fine. If anyone has questions about our workshops or what we do here. And hold on, let me make sure I read all these chat comments. Kelly, yeah. Um, And then we also have, if you like our workshops and you like having a sort of, again, a regular creative time on your calendar, we also have a membership, which gets you, if you're in the membership, you get all the workshops every month. And then you also get this second call that we call our studio session, which is where we gather, a little like this, but less of me talking and more of us sort of, it's a little more focused and a little more, I know I hate using the word productive, but a little more focused creation time with, in community, gathered together. And you get a newsletter and you get some other perks of being a member. So if you like our workshops and you think you want to go through a whole cycle around the year, like I said, we kind of move through the seasons and through the cycle of the year, you can become part of our membership. And some of our members are here today. Hi, members. Lovely to have you. Um, So that is also, so those things are always available, right? A workshop comes up every month. The membership is always open. If you want to join it, you can pay for a whole year or you can pay monthly like a subscription. Um, and this, like, I feel like this is like the secret math. It's not really a secret, but I feel like I don't say it enough. Like, if you buy a ticket to come to one workshop, it's $30. If you join the membership, it's $28 for the month, and you get the workshop and all those extra things. So, it is a better deal. And if if you join monthly, you can come in and out. We don't coerce or convince. Just you shoot me an email and say, I finished my time in the membership, Aimee. Thank you so much. Moving on. No questions asked. We cancel your payments and you go about your way. We don't do engage in any coercive marketing in this community ever. Um, and it really is just me. Like if you send an email, like all your emails come to me and I read them. So there isn't like some magical staff behind the curtain here. All right. Yeah, I think those are all the things that I had to say. So I'm gonna let you guys, and I'd be happy to answer questions. Always happy to answer questions. And then I'm gonna let you guys just be in your creative, whatever you're creating for a little bit. And then I'm gonna circle back and open our sharing time start a little bit on the early side today so that I can just give you a little information about how we do that. That sound good to everybody? I just like love looking at your windows and see everybody with like a paintbrush or a pencil and everyone's doing their thing. That is what it's all about, seeing everybody getting into their creative practice. Feels good. Feels good to be here with all of you. Just looking over my notes, making sure I didn't miss anything. Me too, Shelda. Yes, and we can share. Um, yeah, it was such a revelation to me. So Shelda just said in the chat, I love the creative energy we can share. The first time I was part of a community where we did something like this, where, it's like we're going to get on a Zoom call and we're all going to be making something different, but we're going to be together. I remember being kind of skeptical, like, well, why can't I just do that myself? Like, if I'm just going to be making my own thing, why do I need to be on a Zoom call with these other people? Why can't I just be, over here in my little corner? Um, And it's like, it's one of those things I always tell people, like, you just have to try it. Like, it's so hard to explain to people why it's different. It's different. It's different to be in a intentionally held space with other creatives who are also creating. It's different. We are humans, we are social beings, we are community-oriented beings, and there's a lot of mythology in our culture about like the artist as like the lone wolf, like the Henry David Thoreau in the cabin in the woods um, type of artist who just like shuns community and certainly like there are parts of the creative process that are very individual and are, we kind of, do them ourselves, but it is really different when you're in a community space. Kelly just said, yeah, it is healing, the healing balm of being in community as we create and the vibration of healing increases for everyone. Yeah, 100%, Kelly. Yeah. Right. And it's nothing I'm doing, right? It's like we all bring it in, we all bring it in, we all, I'm just the one opening the container and everybody brings in their own energy to the space. And that's how Yeah, that's how we support each other. It really is magical. And yeah, sometimes it's like a tough sell. And you're like, just come, hit, hit open on the Zoom and then just be doing something creative, but be with us here. And then people leave these calls and they're like, I can't believe I got so much, I did so much, I made so much art, like our or the number of times people will come in like resistance to like this one thing I want to do, but I just can't. And then they'll share in the call and be like, I did it. I took the plastic off of the good paints. And it's there's something about yeah, being held in a container like this where you're just a little bit braver, a little bit more focused, a little bit more, I don't know. Yeah. You guys feel that? You feel that when you're in a container like this? Yeah, I do. I do. I always do. Yeah, Kelly, you can unmute if you want to say something. Go ahead.
Can I just wanted to add that I don't want you to sell yourself short, that you also offer a way for, like, if there's a problem or you're stuck or you're feeling less inspired, that your one-on-one, like, quick calls or just setting something up with you has been so helpful for me to get past something, if I have a block or I can't get the inspiration going. And even just sometimes it's just about showing up and that will release that block. But there are other times that I have reached out to you. So I just want to acknowledge that as well, that
Oh,
that helps us grow in our own creative journey.
thank you, Kelly.
Yeah,
Thanks so much for saying that.
sure.
Yeah, so Kelly, do you mind if I talk about you for a minute? So Kelly's been a member here for I think a couple of full trips around the sun now in our membership. Is that correct, Kelly? And Kelly is also a graduate of a program I run every year called Reclaim Your Creativity. Shelda's here. She's also a graduate of that program, um, which is specifically for people who are or just feeling sort of I don't know, like they need some support reclaiming, getting back into their creative life, or maybe moving on in their creative life, or through some specific kind of block, kind of just need some support. That usually runs in the summertime. And Kelly is also a member of a beta course I'm running right now called Intuitive Art School. Haley is also in our beta group. She's here. And that's more of a deep dive into sort of creativity and intuition. That's running currently. So those are some other things that go on in this community if you're curious what else we do here. Great, friends. Let's take another, I don't know, 5 minutes or so to just be in our creative process, whatever you're working on. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how we share our art in this community. I forgot to bring something for myself to work on, like note to self. I should have my own. Like I was so like amped up about our first meeting and everything. I didn't bring like my own sketchbook. I mean, I always have art supplies about, but um, note to self, I get to make art too. Oh, Vivian, no problem. Awesome. Oh, that's so awesome. I'm just reading Vivian's note in the chat here. You teach mindful creative journaling to seventh graders. God bless. I have a sixth grade. I don't currently have a seventh grader, but I have a sixth grader, and then I have two daughters in high school. Um, Seventh grade is a is a rough year. Oh my goodness, my older sister was a seventh grade guidance counselor for like 10 years and just all seventh grade drama all the time. That takes a very special person. Thanks for being here, Vivian. I'm so glad you could be here. And yeah, have fun teaching your class. That sounds amazing. I hope to see you again. Take care. Oh, she's doing art with faculty. That's amazing. Beautiful. In our February workshop, like I said, we're talking about reigniting your passion, and we're going to be working with the element of fire a lot in our as our symbol. And we're going to talk about it's the year of the fire horse in the Chinese zodiac. We just moved. Wait, did we just move through Lunar New Year? Right? Yeah, we crossed that. And we're going to talk about Saint Bridget. If anyone's familiar with the Celtic slash Catholic St. Bridget's flame. She's associated with fire a lot. Um, we're going to talk a little bit about Imbolc, which means fire in the belly, which is a February celebration. And there's a lot of fire and a little bit about Valentine's Day. So a lot of fire element in February, and we're going to talk about why that is and maybe bring some of that into your art if you want. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun one. I know I always say that, but it's because I always mean it. I always think every workshop I teach is going to be the best one. Hey, friends. So, go ahead and continue, doing what you're doing. I'm just going to talk a little bit about how and why we share art in this community. But then before I open up the floor for some sharing. So first and foremost, sharing your art is always optional. It's always a choice. No one is going to make you or make you feel weird if you don't want to. You guys, I was an art hider for so long. I called myself a recovered art hider. My art practice was so private for so long that you would never believe I'm like here on the internet showing people my artwork now. Like I wouldn't even show it was because my art was like, it was like my diary, right? It was all of my emotions and feelings expressed visually. And so it was like letting someone read your diary, to show them my art. So I understand if you are making art that is private and that is 100% okay. And also, it is really powerful to share your art. It is really powerful to let yourself be witnessed as a creative, to share your process. It's powerful for you, for the sharer, and also it is impactful for the people that you share with. So we share art in this community for that reason, to empower you as a creative. We share art in this community to inspire others with our work. And sometimes, again, it's as simple as like, oh, look what they did with that color, or wow, I've always been curious how that medium works, or that's an idea I never thought of. And, it just puts more fuel in the creative tank for what we might want to try next, or things like that. So if you choose to share today, you are invited. So I like to affectionately refer to this as show and tell. So I was an elementary school teacher, you guys. Does everyone remember show and tell in school, right? Um, but accurate, right? You may show us if you'd like what you made. You don't have to. And or you can tell us a little bit about, what you're trying, what you're playing with, what your process was like today, what came up for you, what was challenging, what was fun, right? So you can show and tell, you can show and or tell about the art you're making. Um, I have a couple of rules. It's my teacher brain. Guidelines. One is please, so when I open the floor for sharing, I'm going to ask you to just raise your hand if you'd like to share. Either, if you know how to raise like the little zoomy hand, you can do that, but you can just raise, your human hand. That's fine. Just so, we're not talking over each other. Um, and if you would like to comment on somebody else's art, just a couple of guidelines for that. I'm going to ask you to do that. I think we'll do it in the chat instead of out loud. Um, yeah, we'll see how that works today, and then we'll move forward. We'll play that by ear. But if you would like to comment on somebody else's art, so we'll do that in the chat. And what I just ask you to do it, we are commenting in the spirit of celebrating one another's art and one another's creative journey. So in this community, in this container, we are not offering critique. Right, technical critique of any kind. Certainly, if you want to grow as an artist, there are times and spaces and places for critique of your artwork, but that's not really what we're here for in this container here. So we're not offering critique and we're not offering unsolicited advice. So if an artist has a question, like if you're like, hey, I just tried watercolors for the first time. I don't really love how it came out. Can anyone give me a tip? Right? If someone has a question and you want to respond directly to their question, you certainly can do that. That would be lovely, but we're not going to give we're not gonna be like, hey, I noticed that, your colors are a little muddy here. You know what you could do next time, right? We're not giving unsolicited advice or critique of any kind. So that's just sort of the guidelines of how we share here. If you want to celebrate someone's art, let them know what it evokes in you, what you love about it, what it makes you think about. That's all great. Love that. Welcome that. And, just in general, we are here to celebrate each other, celebrate and support each other. All right. So, all that said, I'm going to take my head out of the giant box here and see who's still on the call with us. A few people said goodbye and hopped off. That's fine. All right. So at this time, you are invited and welcome to share with the group what you are doing. Lucienne, would you like to unmute and tell us about? Oh, can't access chat and microphone does not work. Okay, you're at an iPad. Yes, I know that Zoom works a little different on iPad. I'm not an iPad person, so I can't talk you through it, unfortunately, but are you able to unmute and talk or no? No. Well, that's a bummer. If you want to make a sign and hold it up and share anything with us, you certainly are welcome to. But sorry about that.
Amy, you may be able to send her an unmute message and it'll pop up for her to click on.
Okay, I just clicked that. No. All right, worth
Are
me.
you on the iPad?
Yeah, she's on an iPad.
If you if you have the touchpad, correct? So if you touch the bottom of the screen, a menu should pop up. And then there should be options to unmute and chat.
Thanks for helping, Doreen.
No problem. Looks like she froze.
Yeah. All right, we'll let Lucienne keep working on that. Um, is there anybody who'd like to share with the group today? Kelly, start us off. Thanks, Kelly.
I'm, excuse me. I have only had a part of my cup of coffee, so I got to get my voice going again. I am working on an art piece for my bathroom that we remodeled this fall.
Mm.
And the bathroom has like new tile that looks like pebbles and stones. Hey, she got it.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
Did
hear it.
that work?
Yes, yes, we hear
Working.
you.
Yay!
So
All right. We'll
I'm
circle back
just
to you in 1 minute.
creating
Kelly's gonna.
I'm creating something, an art piece that will have real stones and pebbles collage piece in it, as well as shells and I'm going to draw like succulents and eucalyptus and vines and ivy on the canvas. And not sure if I'm going to use acrylic with collage pieces or watercolor and then put the collage pieces with it, but I'm just doing a rough sketch this morning to see what I want and this size will work. So
Beautiful.
great opportunity. I have been putting this off since October. So I'm making moves.
Is this Kelly? Is this the piece that we were chatting about in Intuitive Art School at
It
our last class?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did
Hey, and you
write
took
about
the
it, but
first
I
step.
didn't.
Yay.
Yeah, I know. I made the move. So thank you again for this time this morning.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that with us, Kelly. So in our Intuitive Art School group, we were talking about like taking that first step on an idea that's just like been in your head forever and it's just always an idea, but there's never any action. So yay to Kelly for taking her first action step. Awesome. Well done. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing with us. All right, Lucienne, would you like to see if you can unmute and share now?
Yes.
Yay!
Oh
Yes, we
gosh.
hear you.
Thanks so much. Was that Doreen? For the I always use
Yes,
a
thank you.
laptop for Zoom. I had no clue how to work this, but now I know. Um, I'm working on collages because it's February and I always participate in Februarylage,
Oh,
which gives you a prompt every day for a collage. It's like thousands of people joining.
oh,
And
like Inktober, but
yes,
February
exactly.
last.
But with
Oh,
collages and I like making them because I got stuck with everything. I was painting and I thought just, gluing things together and getting ideas from prompt. So I'm doing the one for tomorrow, which is rain, and I've made this.
wow, that's gorgeous. I love that
So
umbrella.
the background is something I made, I don't know, like quite some time ago, but that's what I've been doing while you were talking.
Yes, thank
So
you.
thanks, because that got me working on it, and it felt, sort of cozy having people around.
It is, right? It's nice. I didn't know about February collage February. How did you say it? Collage
Februlage.
Februlage. That sounds like a French dessert.
Februlage. Febru, and then lage like collage.
Yes, I love that. Is that like, does a certain person host that or
Yeah, it's
is
on
it
Instagram. They have
on
an
Instagram?
account. It's actually called Februlage.
Okay,
And
good.
it's always organized by like the Collage Museum in Denmark, I think, in Copenhagen, and the Paris Collage Collective, something. But if you look on Instagram, just as the name Februlage, I'll
Yeah.
write it down so you. Oh, I can do it in the. I should be
Yeah,
able
if
to
you can
access the
access the
chat
chat, you
now.
can throw that in there. Thanks. See, this is why
Yeah.
I love sharing time because I didn't know about Februlage and now
You
that
can
sounds really
still
cool.
join.
I would at least like that would sounds like it would be really fun to even just follow them on Instagram and see what
And
collage
you,
is not like my main thing I do, but I have done collage and that sounds like it would be fun just to even follow even if I'm not going to participate. Um,
yeah, it's I like it a lot. It's I don't know, just I think collaging is really good for um, looking at things you have, but in a different way. So you
mm,
use it for something else and connect things that you normally wouldn't connect to get like new images. So I always find it helps my creativity.
yeah, absolutely. Love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Can you see it in the chat? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Thank you so much
you
for
can find
sharing.
them on Instagram. So
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
yeah, thanks for letting me participate and for the explanation of Zoom on iPad. Yay.
Yes, thank you for
Very useful.
hurrying to the rescue. Yeah, I'm not a big apple
Can I say
product
one
user.
one thing,
Yes,
Amy?
please.
Because I did the free membership in December, but my problem really is that I'm in Europe and your things are always at a time. It's like the middle of the night here, and I'm an
Yeah.
early go to sleep, early riser. Today it's only 4 in the afternoon, and I had the
Perfect.
day off, so I thought, yes, it works. But that's why. Like, I really appreciate all your emails and everything, but it's almost impossible to actually join. So
I do
I
understand that.
just wanted to tell you that it's
Oh,
it's
well,
it's not you, it's the time difference. Yeah. So
yeah. Well,
thanks.
I'm so glad that this time works for you because we'll be here every month. You can come here
Yeah.
every month. And yes, I do. I always say, like, if I could open a magic time portal and just have like a magic time that worked for all of us, that would be amazing. But
No, and I can totally understand. And I happen to be someone who actually goes to bed early. So if
good for
it's
you.
like starting at 11 at night, it's like, no, I'm already
So,
asleep. So sorry.
yep.
But I really
Understand.
enjoyed this meeting. So if it's the same time, I might join more often. Yes.
Yeah, this is going to be our time for the foreseeable future. So,
Okay.
so glad you,
Thanks so much.
thank you. So glad you were here. Anyone else want to share with us today? Doreen, what are you doing over there?
Me.
Oh, hold on, Haley. I'm gonna get to Doreen first,
Okay.
and then I'll come down to you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. My mouse is on my left side, and I keep forgetting that I have to use it like a right-handed mouse.
Are you lefty, Doreen?
I'm just playing
Oh,
today.
beautiful.
Yeah, I know being in Color of Women, everything was all of our assignments. So I had not done a lot of just play.
Yeah,
So and then Nicholas Wilton's having his February challenge. So that reminded me that because his concept was, every day you do 20 minutes just play of art. I'm like, I need to do that more. So thank you for giving space for that.
yeah, you're so welcome. So Doreen and I are in a very intense art course now called Color of Women with Shiloh Sophia. I don't know if any of you have come across her in the on the art world, but yes, so much of my art time is going to that I have not been making as much as just my own, in my own process and for fun kind of art. So absolutely. Thanks for being here, Doreen,
You.
and to see you. Haley, do you want to share?
Sure, yes.
What's going on, Haley?
Where is mine? So I had this rare opportunity where I am alone at work. Husband is out and about. So I wanted to show you my neon lights. What I do, let me flip the camera.
Haley is a neon
I
artist,
am
you
a
guys.
neon light artist. So I make a lot of things, but I especially like to do spoofs on beer signs. So this one
Ah,
here that says neon light here used to look like this Coors Light.
that's awesome.
Yep. We have a clock that I did, affordable signs and neon. I made the neon around the clock. I made this color sample board years ago. Oh, this is cool. Bathroom light. Oh,
Wow, look at that.
kind of blows out the picture. And I'll do a quick tour of the shop. There's another beer sign spoof. I don't know if you've heard of the beer called Fat Tire. It's a beer. I don't know about beer, but I made this spoof called Flat Tires, and I made the tires flat.
So cute.
And I'll do a quick run to the back where I've got some new stuff. Here's some repairs. Miller Lite, you will never see a pink and green Miller Lite because I made it pink and green. What else? Oh, this is a cool piece over here. So this is a three-dimensional little pedestal, and I made the W go through the O. That's really kind of a challenge to do that.
Love that.
What else we got? This new one. There's all kinds of cool stuff. husband's office, and to the back. So this is one of my favorite beer sign spoofs. Miller Latte instead of Miller Lite.
Those are simple.
And then this is the head that's on my little icon, my little Zoom icon. That was in a movie
It
a
was in
long
a
time
movie?
ago. Yeah, Major League Two with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, I know that movie.
Oh,
Wow.
cool! It's filmed in Baltimore. This up here is a heat vent for a restaurant. Only it doesn't work, but we put this neon tube around it because it kind of looks like a spaceship now.
Wow.
And then this is my project I finished up yesterday. I don't know if you can see it because it's so bright. It says Sundown Saloon.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So I work
cool.
with high voltage, and this is where I put the gas in the tube over here. And this is the fires. It's not lit, but the fire comes out here. There's a hand torch. We're torching, splicing things together. And then this burner over here called a ribbon burner, which when I pull this slide out, makes the flame get long, short. That's for doing like big curves. Oh, and this is kind of the windowless warehouse I work in. And that was so cool
Well,
being able to give you a tour.
thank you
Yeah,
for zooming in from work today, Haley, and thanks for giving us a tour of your workshop. So
yeah, that's cool.
a unique art form that you do. We
So
love
that inspires my nighttime art. And I just like to share with people.
thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for showing us around the workshop.
Good. I've enjoyed meeting some new people, so thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Haley.
Alrighty. Bye.
All right, Shelda or Jen, would either of you like to, yeah, you want to share, Shelda? Oh, you're still muted, hun.
Well, you were talking, and throughout this session, I've just been working on coloring a mandala, and I find coloring to be very peaceful and something that I can do even when I'm listening to something else. And then on the subject of collage, yesterday with one of my other teachers, we did some intentional creativity work around safety.
Mm.
And so I collaged this. Oh, here's my cat. He makes me feel safe.
Hey, kitty.
And so I collaged this picture. The background is throws, all different kinds of warm, fuzzy throws.
Mhm.
And then I put coffee on top of the throws, like it's a tablecloth. But coffee and throws make me feel very secure and warm and safe. So I love my collage.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And did you know it was Collage February?
No, I wrote it down. I'm definitely gonna go look that up.
Yeah.
I'm having a real urge. I don't know, maybe it's because I've got all these bits stored on my shelf here, but like it feels very collagey.
Yes. Awesome. I love that theme of safety. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, that was very good. We journaled on the things that don't make us feel not safe, and then we focused on the safe things. So it's kind of a grounding picture to look at when
Yeah.
you feel safe, or you feel, because our senses are so triggered now,
Yeah.
because we not only see the things in our own environment that make us not safe, but in millions of other people's environments. Those things aren't necessarily directly threatening us, but they trigger our not safe
Right.
mechanisms. So we
Hmm.
need to protect ourselves against that.
Yeah, for sure. Which goes back to, like I was saying about, we take in so much information, and a lot of it, let's be honest, is curated to make us feel unsafe so that,
Right.
we're in
Hmm.
that fight or flight mode. Yeah, for
Exactly.
sure.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that, Shelda.
Mhm.
Beautiful. All right. I think something just came in the chat. Shelda Kelly. Yes. Um, um, Years and years ago, before I even had like found intuitive art, I took a very like traditional collage art class. Um, And the teacher, she was great, but she had like, there was a lot of rules. Like, she felt very strongly that all collage material needed to be hand ripped, not cut with scissors.
Really?
And you had to rip it like going, yeah, you've got your, right. It was like you had to rip it going with the grain of the paper, not against the grain of the paper, or something like that, or maybe vice versa. I don't remember. And so they were just like, it was very rigid and there were all these rules. And I think that after that, I was like, I don't really think collage is for me. But since then, I have learned like about like cosmic smashbooking and like intentional creativity and other iterations of collaging that are much more in alignment with my own kind of creative style and have found a lot of joy in those. So beautiful. All right, friends. Well, I think we are, unless there are any final thoughts, comments, questions, which I'm happy to answer for you, I think we are about ready to close up our time here. I love that you're all like, people are like, I'm still painting, I'm still going, like, keep going, keep doing it, keep making your art. And so it is my intention that we will be here on the first Friday of every month. And it will be, very much like this. Um, Me talking, you making art. I'll figure out how to get some royalty-free music, maybe. We'll see how that goes. Um, and I would like just thinking ahead to the future, I would love to think about like bringing in some guest teachers to this space or guest speakers or things like that. So I think there's a lot of potential for things we could do here in this space. Now you have the gist of basically, what we're going to be doing here. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be with you all, see your art, see your face, see what everyone's doing. Jen, did you want to share anything before we close up today? I feel like I didn't call on you.
Hi. No, that's cool. I'm a total beginner, so I'm afraid I'm not going to show what I was doing.
Totally fine.
But yeah, I was just playing with some watercolors, some nice colors that went together well. And I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. But it was I've got supplies, like so many people, got supplies.
Yeah,
And there's just this thing about not being able to do it when I'm by myself. So it's great to have the group.
yeah,
And be held in the space and just yeah, it was good seeing what everybody's up to. I used to do collage a lot when I was younger. I've been inspired. I might get back to that. I mean, it's such a yeah, you can do anything with collage. I love it, and I can't believe like you had to tear the paper with the gray. I mean, what the
yeah.
heck?
It was very specific.
Yes. So yeah, thank you. Thanks everybody.
Well,
It's good
and
to be here.
Jen, are you a quilter? Is that what I'm seeing behind you there?
That's a painting
Or
that I
on the
did a long
on
time
over
ago.
your other
Oh, on
shoulder?
this over here.
Yeah.
That is a quilt. I didn't make it,
Oh,
unfortunately.
okay. You're a
But it
quilter
is a kind of
creator.
quilt
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Jen, for sharing
thank
that.
you.
Yeah, I like watercolors, but I am entirely self-taught in the watercolor genre. I've never taken a class. I've watched a few YouTubes or whatever here and there, but I think it's one of those mediums you can really play with. That's fun to play with. Yeah, for sure. So beautiful. Okay, friends. Well, thank you all for being here live, and hello to anyone who's catching this on replay. Hope you're enjoying that as well. And I will see you next month. Or before then, if you want to come to our workshop, it is going to be on the 19th this month, and the tickets for that will open probably Monday this coming week. Usually it's like a week and a half-ish before the workshop, the tickets go on sale. So, and those of you who are already members, I'll see you, be seeing you soon. All right, friends, take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.